For Thanksgiving this year, we decided to do a pig roast with one of the pigs that we raise. This is something that we have never done before, but we were anxious to try it. This was kind of a last minute plan, and so we ended up using rebar, digging a hole in the ground, and building our own grate and our own pit. We lined the bottom of the hole with bricks to keep the heat in, and we used T-posts to keep the sides of the grate sturdy. I actually stopped by one of our local construction companies, and they had this rebar laying in their trash pile. So we lucked out and got all of this rebar for free to build our grate. Around 9 o'clock the night before Thanksgiving, we started to build the fire. Between James and myself, we kept the fire going all night. It was really important that the bricks underneath of the fire stayed really hot and that we ended up getting a really nice pile of coals so that in the morning when we were ready to put the pig on, everything was really hot and ready. We used a ton of oak wood for the fire, and James continued cutting lumber and chopping wood all morning to get the fire really good and hot. By 8 o'clock in the morning, the fire was ready for us to put the pig on top of the grate. We went ahead and together laid it down over the grate and positioned it so it would cook evenly. We wanted to make sure that we'd be able to flip it as well once it got really cooked well on the first side. Once we had the pit built, the grate was in place, the pig was in place, everything after that was really, really simple. The biggest job was just making sure that the fire stayed hot. We did have some wind, so we took some metal roofing and we put it up around the edges to help the heat stay in. But other than that, we just used a dry rub that was gifted to us from my mom's boyfriend. And as the pig cooked and we flipped it, we would put the rub on. We added melted butter and we would brush the pig with melted butter as it cooked. And it was just really simple. Much to my surprise, my absolute favorite part of the pork that we cooked was the skin. It was incredibly crispy and it had a fat layer underneath of it, which kept it super, super juicy and moist. And I enjoyed that pig skin more than I ever thought that I would. This pig was about 65 pounds at its hanging weight, and it took about 4 hours to cook. This was such a wonderful way to highlight a product from our farm, share it with friends and family, and have an event outside in the fresh air with very little cleanup. I would do it again in a heartbeat.